Okay, let's just check. All right, so today is day 4 of the free mini anatomy training. So yeah, thank you as always to everyone who has been joining, been commenting, been sharing, either here or on the Shanti Center Yoga Holidays page, the Instagram page, which is Stephanie_Shanti, and the YouTube channel, which is Shanti Center Training School. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for those who have booked in for the course next week, which is great. I still have 2 more spaces I can give away with £50 off. So if you've been joining these lives and you want to delve in a little bit deeper, it's really good to know. It's good to know what's in there. The more we know what's in there, the more we can take care of what is there. You know, we have to see what's there to be able to look after what's there. I find it extremely empowering to know what's going on in my body. You know, gone are the days where we surrender our bodies into the hands of the guru or do exactly what the yoga teacher says. You know, we can actually intelligently take kind of a bit more power over our own bodies and do the things that are uniquely good for us. So, you know, I think it's extremely empowering. It's very good if you're a yoga teacher because you'll just know a little bit more about what you're doing and why, and you can, you know, organize your sequencing better. It's really good if you're a yoga teacher trainee because it'll make all of the learning much easier. And it's really good if you're a massage therapist because it will just help you to understand, you know, what you're feeling under your hands, and then to give advice maybe after the massage is how to kind of stretch it, how to strengthen it. You know, it's combining the kind of relaxation of massage to the stretching and strengthening of yoga to be able to kind of give a complete therapy. So I recommend this course. Obviously it's mine, so I have to recommend it, but it's just really amazing to know what's going on in there. So day 4, continuing on lower back theme. So yesterday we did psoas. The day before we looked at we looked at the skeleton, the spine, and the first day we did rotator cuff. So today is Quadratus lumborum. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Quadratus lumborum, and first of all I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the stabilisation of the lower back. So if you remember, we have these 5 lumbar vertebrae at the bottom of the spine, massive, huge, chunky little things. And you've got the bodies at the front with the nice discs in between, giving you cushioning, and that's for your suspension as well. And they're sort of wedge shaped at the lower back because the lower back is naturally curved in and it needs to curve in. So you can imagine if it's curving in, the front bit of the disc is kind of a bit fatter and the back bit is a little bit thinner where it's wedged. So there's 5 of these, and I said 5, I meant 5. These 5 lumbar vertebrae are not supported by any other bony structure. So remember, we have our thoracic spine, which has 12 vertebrae, and each of them articulates with a pair of ribs. And obviously that has got a cage to it. It restricts forward and backward movement so that we can protect the vital organs, the lungs, the heart, the liver. And then we have the pelvis underneath L5, so the 5th lumbar vertebrae. They're counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going down. L5 is the last one, and then we have the sacrum, and we have the sacrum articulating with the whole pelvis, which kind of sits and slots on top of the sacrum. So there's no other bony structure to kind of give stability to these 5 lumbar vertebrae. So we get that stability from the musculature around, and there's loads and loads of muscles doing loads and loads of things, but mainly I can kind of simplify it by telling you that there's 3 pillars of support for the lumbar spine. And one of them we looked at yesterday, which is the psoas, which attaches to the front of the vertebrae, the front of the transverse processes, and attaches a little bit to the bodies. Remember, the bodies are the chunky bits at the front. So that's giving support to the front of the lumbar spine. And then we have at the back of the lumbar spine, we have the erector spinae muscles, which actually like travel up from the lower back all the way to the upper back, all the way to the neck, and kind of fan out as well. So they're kind of these ropey muscles. If you've ever had a massage, you can feel with your own hands. They go all the way back, they go all the way up, not just in the lower back. But if you kind of were to palpate behind you, find the spinous processes, which are the sticking out bits, and then kind of come off there, and you kind of travel out. You might travel over some ropey like muscles. And these are the erector spinae muscles, and they their primary job is to keep us up because gravity wants us to go down. So they're always shortening to kind of pull us up. Because they fan out as well, they pull us back a little bit as well. So that's kind of countering gravity, pushing us down and forward. The erector spinae, because they're like that, they're going to pull the shoulder points back, they're going to pull us back into extension. But mainly they're just working really hard all the time just to keep us up, because we're trying our best and gravity is trying to get us down as we age, but we're also not really helping by kind of sitting slouching and doing this on the computer or this on the phone. So these muscles work very hard. So they, at the bottom there, form the pillar on the back of the lumbar spine. So we have the pillars of support on the front, which is the psoas, right and left side, and we saw that the psoas kind of tucks under the organs and is our one of our primary hip flexors, and we looked at different ways to kind of strengthen them. And then at the sides we have these other amazing muscles, my favorite muscles of all, the QL, the Quadratus lumborum, and these are really kind of tough, gnarly chunks of muscle. They're kind of rectangular shape, quadratus meaning well, squared, but they're rectangular, lumborum meaning of the lumbar spine, and they attach at the sides. So they're underneath. You've got the erector spine at the back, which you can feel with your hands. Underneath them, so deep, they attach from the lower rib. They attach to the transverse processes, so there's sideways gnarly bits, and to the top rim of the pelvis. So they're like two pillars of support giving us sideways stabilization. So if we do stretches like side stretch, I've got this Quadratus lumborum stretching and this one kind of shortening. If I rest down, it's passively shortening. If I keep my arm up, then it's actively shortening. So there's different ways we can work these muscles. You can imagine that when I twist also, they're working a little bit to help me twist, and then they're also working when I do a back bend. So they have these different kind of functions, but they're all, remember we said on the second day that the lower back, the actual vertebrae of the lower back don't really allow for much twisting movement, because those facet joints that articulate one vertebra with the next kind of slot into each other, so there's no room for this twisting motion. So that movement comes from muscles, and that will be partly to do with the Quadratus lumborum. So you can also imagine that because they're two pillars, if I'm out of balance in anywhere in my body, say for example my feet are out of balance, I've kind of flattened one sole of the foot, or my knees are out of balance, or my hips are out of balance, or even my shoulders are out of balance. If my pelvis is sitting at all unevenly and not straight, forward or back too much, one hip hoiked up, one hip lower down, or the same with my ribs, then these pillars on either side are going to become different from each other. And this kind of spirals up the body. We often find, when I massage people, I often find diagonally going down the body areas of tension. So if I find like left shoulder, I'm usually going to find something in the right Quadratus lumborum. So how we get to the Quadratus lumborum is that we have to kind of sink underneath the erector spinae muscles. And a really easy way of kind of becoming familiar with your own Quadratus lumborum is to use these myofascial release balls, or tennis balls are fine. But first of all, let's see if we can find it with our hands. Just get rid of that. So if you do what we did before, find the spinous processes, those are your knobbly bits, and then come off those, and there's like a groove which is just off the main spine. And then as we come out, and you're going to do it at the waist, so this is the lower back. The deepest part of your curve usually is about at the waist, maybe a bit lower, but we'll start at the waist, come around the back from the waist, come out a little bit, and you'll be on those ropey muscles, and that will be kind of erector spinae. Now if you come out another inch, and then what you can try and do is try and with your fingertips guide your fingers back and underneath that ridge that you feel, because we have to kind of go diagonally in because they're deep, and we have to go under, so it's like you're trying to hook under these sides, and you'll feel the sides or the edges of QL. And you might find already that you're feeling something quite gnarly. So how we get a sense of often the imbalance between sides, I mean, I feel this straight away when I do this, is to get the balls in them. So what I'm going to suggest is that you have 2 balls. If it's very, very intense as soon as you lie down on the balls, then just place a blanket over the top of them, because you don't need an intense sensation. And I also like to have something here to put my feet up, so that my I've got a chair, or you could use a wall. My knees are over my hips, and that's just going to help me kind of wriggle around. So once you've got your chair in place, get your balls and then just kind of place them in the deepest curve of the lower back. And if you place the balls right next to each other, then the spinous processes are going to come inside the ball. You can have them with a tiny bit of space between them, and we're going to get them wider once we get to the QL. So I've put them in my deepest curve of my back, and I'm going to lie down. Now, if that is too much already, then I can place a blanket over the balls, and I'll just make it a bit softer. So right now, those balls are kind of pressing into the erector spinae muscles. Those are ropey muscles. Because the balls are close together, I'm right on the erector spinae muscles. If I want to find the QL, I'm going to move those balls another inch or so out to the sides, so that I'm kind of beginning to be into that squishy bit of the waist, but also the inside edge of the ball is on the outside edge of the QL, and maybe the erector's there. So now we have to kind of insert those balls diagonally in towards my spine. So what we can do is we can bring the feet onto the chair. So now I've added a little bit more pressure, because by lifting my feet up, I've pressed down a little bit. And now, one side at a time, if I can cross my ankle over my opposite knee and just let my knees fall over. So I've crossed my left foot over my right knee, and I'm letting both legs fall over to the left. So now my left ball is being pushed a little bit into that rim, and I can feel that. Now, if that's too much, you can keep your right foot on the floor, and you can windscreen wipe instead of staying. You can also windscreen wipe with the foot up, and if the foot is too high, you could place your foot on a block. And we've probably found, as we then kind of go to and from on this muscle, we've probably found a bit there where we could just kind of sink in and relax as the legs are just kind of hoisted to one side, and the ball is sinking then diagonally up and in. And if you don't feel it, then yeah, you might have the wrong place, or you might be lucky and this side isn't very tight. And then you can try the same thing with the other side. Don't be surprised if it's extremely different one side and the other. And actually, as I've gone to the other side, I can feel this releasing more and more now, the left side that I've just done. So you can do it with your legs on the floor. I've got a radiator in the way, but you can really hang right over until you really are pressing that ball down. And then as you lift your foot up, then you will be kind of making that ball sink deeper. And so it's kind of on the outside edge it's between my spine and my waist. Both balls are. And I can definitely feel that my left QL is extremely tight, and that is totally in keeping with the rest of my body. I have a very tight left side doing most of the work in my life, and a kind of weak and flexible right side. So I'll be interested to know what you discovered. Take the balls out, just rest for a little bit before you move, because it's really nice with this myofascial release to, when you've finished doing whatever you're doing, just to give your nervous system and fascial system a chance to kind of catch up. So what happens is the fascia starts sucking in hydration, and your nervous system starts to remember the after effect of what you've done, and then it will go craving what you've done to get the after effect later. So just have a few moments chilling there. And these QL are amazing. I mean, any kind of side stretching, when you're ready you can roll over and come up. Any kind of side stretching we do in yoga, or just in life, when we yawn and go from side to side, you'll be accessing them a little bit, and just noticing how tight one side is compared to the other. And those are the great muscles to massage. If you're a massage therapist, then get in there, get your fingers under the erector spine and give a good massage there, and you'll be amazed what you find. So if that was useful to you, let me know, comment, like, share, do the things that you've got to do. And remember that tomorrow is a free for all. So I have an idea of what I can do if I don't hear from you, but if there's something that you want to know about, this is your chance, because it's the last day. And like I say, I've got 2 more spaces that I can give you £50 off. To get that, you need to contact me directly, because it won't be, the money off won't be on the website. Get in touch with me if this has been really useful to you. Like I said, it's all recorded, so if you can't make it live, then you'll just get sent all the recordings. Well, it's all up on a resources page where the recordings are put, as well as the pre-recorded experiential things and the PDF information things, and a chance to kind of contact me. That will all be up there. So if you can't make it live and want to clock it for another day at the special offer price, then get in touch with me. And if you can make it live, it's better, because you can ask me questions as they come up, and it's a lot of material to do. You might zone out a little bit, and if you're able to make it to at least 50% of the lives, then you can get your CPD certificate as well, which is very useful if you're collecting CPD points, which quite a lot of yoga teachers still are doing. So that's me. I will hopefully see you tomorrow. I hope to hear from you during the day, and I hope to see some of you on Monday as well. Take care. Lots of love. Bye.